Hi, everybody. I'm going to walk you through this Getting Started document. Essay 1. You've already really begun because you've been posting to the blog about scenes from our 3 films, and the essay will take that further. But we can begin to think about a formal academic essay on the subject. I'll have more to say about each of these requirements moving forward. I'll say a few quick words about each one. Title, and don't just stick a label on it. I've talked a bit about this before. Begin to make your argument. Focus your reader's attention. See if you can grab the reader and pull them into your essay. And begin thinking about this now. Have a working title, a temporary title at the very least. Clear beginning, middle, and end, right? That's pretty standard. Don't think in formulaic terms like the 5-paragraph essay. You can begin in all kinds of ways. You know what you like to read, what works well. You can think then what would work well to grab my reader's attention. Should you start with a dramatic scene in the film you're talking about? Should you start with a attention-getting fact about the Anthropocene? You know, a bit of personal anecdote. What would really pull somebody in and get you motivated to write an essay you care about? Argument. Thesis. Well, don't worry right now about a thesis statement as in a single sentence that summarizes your argument, but do think about how you can begin to move toward an argument. This first thing that you're writing won't really entail argument in an obvious way. I'll talk a little bit more about that before I finish this video. At the end. Length. This will not be a long essay, 4 to 6 pages, depending on font size. Around 12 to 1,500 words. Quality over quantity. Don't waste words. Basic formatting stuff. One screenshot at least, captioned and well integrated in formatted, not just stuck in there awkwardly. We'll talk more about that moving forward and look at a couple of examples. MLA style. You must incorporate both direct quotations and paraphrases that you cite from the film and or supporting sources. We're practicing academic writing, and incorporating sources into your own writing is a key skill that we need to focus on. Supporting sources may include things we've read. Earl Ellis from a very short introduction to the Anthropocene, the Ellis reading. This is a new one we'll look at. This is the official page of the scientific group, the geologists and stratigraphers who comprise the working group on the Anthropocene. A great place to go for a basic definition of the Anthropocene. One of the short essays we've read from Burtynsky, Beifall, and Depensier's Anthropocene Project, including Zalasiewicz and Waters, who also define the scientific side, which is something you'll need to do. A reading we'll discuss this week. Transcript of a speech by Werner Herzog called the Minnesota Declaration. And then you might do some other research. This is not a research paper, but you might want to look up some basic facts, provide some basic background on something. And to do that, I recommend Credo, the university database of encyclopedias. And of course, you might turn to other online sources. If you have questions about this, let me know. One kind of source I don't want you to use, I don't want you to draw significantly on reviews or articles about these films. I want you to really focus on your own analysis, and so be very careful. It may be that you read something and it sparks, a counter argument, or there's something that you want to do that you take a particular insight further, then cite that. Let me know. But really, if I feel like what you're writing sounds a little bit too much like what somebody else might have written, and I discover that that other thing is out there, we will have a very unpleasant conversation, and I mean it. How to avoid unpleasant conversations. When in doubt, cite. Oversight. Practice citation. If you oversight, if you cite unnecessarily, great. It's much, much better than failing to cite when it's necessary. Okay. So, the basic overview. Please read this carefully yourself. I'll just simply say, you've already practiced what's at the heart of this essay, which is getting in deep with a particular shot or scene, and by shot, I might mean a few seconds of the film, or even a still image, one continuous moment that might take 10, 15, 20 seconds, but, could be part of a larger scene. But what you don't want to do is get stuck trying to engage too much with narrative or the overall story, and trying to grapple with, 10 minutes of film time or something like that. You'll need to be able to summarize a little bit of the narrative of the film or a storyline so that you can situate your reader in relation to that when you're focused on that one shot or scene. But the idea is here to go deep into a particular moment in the film, and then link that to an aspect of the question of the Anthropocene, and also, not just think about what the film is showing you, but how it's showing it to you, what the filmmakers are doing. Use some of that film vocabulary that we've been looking at. Okay, here's what's due on Thursday. A document. Google Drive, share it with me. Make sure you share it with me. Don't make me go and find it. And please name it like this to help me out. MLA style, just go ahead and set that document up now. There's a template on the NYU Google Drive that you can use and modify, make a copy. What to write? Well, around 500 words or so of really good description of your chosen shot or scene. Do not just copy and paste what you already posted to the blog. You can continue to develop that particular scene. You can choose a new one, right? But if you work with what you've already posted to the blog, take it further, refine it, develop it, think it through again several times over, and really go deep. If you're looking for models, I've given you a couple. One is the one I discussed the other day, or presented to the other day in that presentation. And then here's another from a book chapter that we'll be taking a look at, as part of the process of talking about writing about film in an academic context. It's by an academic named Dominic O'Key, and we'll just look a little bit here. You can see what a good job he's doing of direct description. Cave of Forgotten Dreams has come to a close. The screen is engulfed in darkness. The word postscript appears in thin white typography. Herzog opens with a cloudy scene in which 2 nuclear cooling towers are pictured across the water. As waste heat is exhaled into the atmosphere, the camera pans from left to right, revealing a 3rd cooling tower. Herzog's extra-diegetic narration begins. On the Rhone River is one of the largest nuclear power plants in France, etc., etc., etc. Right, so we're looking at this here for now, just as a model of descriptive writing. You see he's including these block quotes where he's foregrounding the narration. You can see he's talking about the music. Okay, so it's an example. That's it. I'm going to share another video with you guys to talk about the film itself, Cave of Forgotten Dreams, and set us up for our discussion of it and work with it the rest of this week. Okay, one last thing. I said I'd talk about thesis statement or argument. So I don't want you to worry too much about that right now. You're focused on really excellent description. And what can happen when you do a really good job of describing something is that you're already analyzing it. Analysis is simply seeing something clearly, how parts relate to the whole, how the whole might relate then to other things. So if you can see clearly how the scene works, and then think about how it relates to the larger film, and then start to think about how the larger film might relate to some aspect or part of the question of the Anthropocene, you're already on your way to an argument. Okay? So don't get hung up on thesis right now. I really want you to see that good, clear, descriptive writing is analysis, and analysis leads you right to good argument. You don't need to have an argument that you want to make at the outset. In fact, that can sometimes get in the way of seeing things clearly. So that's that for now. All right? Take it easy, and I'll talk to you later.